Hey guys, what's going on? It's Matt here. I want to take a second today to showcase FHA loans. What you know, what you don't know, the good, bad, the ugly of these types of loans. 4 things that are the main highlights that you really need to kind of know as you move forward. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Let's jump right into those. So let's start with number 1, why FHA? Why would you go FHA as we roll in here in 2025 versus other loans like conforming loans? Well, FHA does have more leniency in terms of interest rate with lower credit scores. So if you have on the lower end of the credit score spectrum scale, still getting an approve, or maybe you need an underwriter to really dig into your file, you're going to get better rates and terms and cheaper mortgage insurance if you go FHA than say a conforming or conventional loan. Also, too, if you have big negative things that happened in the past, derogatory credit items like bankruptcies, foreclosures, short sales, you'll get yourself into an FHA loan much sooner than a conventional type loan will in any way. So that's always the big areas in this, is that's a little more lenient, gives you better rates if you're not such a strong borrower. So number 2, jumping into it, inspections that are required. A lot of people ask, hey, I'm getting this FHA loan, are there any specific inspections? So yes, generally it's on well and septics only. So if you have a well, you're going to need your well water tested. They're going to do a bacteria test and a mineral test. You just need to make sure that the testing company knows you're getting an FHA loan, and they'll do the test and run all the different parameters and tests for that. So you will need a water test only if it's on a well, and if it's on a septic and a well, you're going to need certain distances met between the holding tank and the septic drain field, things like that. So those are the 2 things mainly you need to look at: the distance requirements, which is generally not an inspection, but you just need to make sure they're there, and I guess the water test. So biggest misconception, which I preach, is almost every month I have someone ask and inquire, you do not need a septic inspection for FHA. If your lender or bank is telling you you need a septic inspection, that is not true. FHA does not require you to have a septic inspection done. If that bank or lender does, it's called an overlay. They're asking you to do up and over what FHA does, and by all means, give me a call. We definitely don't need one of those. So distances, yes. Water test, yes. Septic inspection, definitely not. Now, that being said, any questions on this specific inspections, check out that realtor reference guide, guys. I did attach it again so you have it. It spells all this stuff out for you so you have it real clear. And number 3, property condition. This is where a lot of sellers might shy away from FHA loan, because FHA loans, like VA that we discussed last month, FHA loans are certain in particular on generally safety and health of the property. So biggest culprits on here, if you have chipping, peeling paint, they want to make sure that that is taken care of. Missing handrails on steps and staircases generally need to be fixed. Broken window panes, things like that. If you have a larger staircase that's missing a banister for safety, a child could fall, something like that, they will look at these things. So this is where a lot of my buyers that are utilizing FHA might tell Mr. Seller, listen, if you take my deal, I promise I'll repair any FHA required repairs that need to be done. And you won't know that until the appraisal is done and the appraiser goes out there and reviews the property. So there are a couple things to be mindful of in terms of property condition that you might need to look at. And lastly, number 4 comes out quite often. Hey, I have an FHA loan now. Can I get a second FHA loan? Technically, no. FHA is very particular. They only allow one FHA loan for a primary home at a time, with exception. So the exceptions to this are if you're moving, generally you need to be moving within 100 miles of where you live now, like a job relocation. Say you have an FHA loan, you don't want to sell your house, you might rent it out, but you're moving. That's one exception. FHA would grant it. By all means, they will Google it that you have 100 miles. There has to be 100 miles from where you're going to and where you're coming from. As long as you have that met, you're okay to get a second FHA loan. And secondly, if your household size expands more than what you have now. So for instance, say you live in a 2-bedroom house, your wife or your significant other is pregnant, or you adopt children, and you've outgrown your family size for that living capacity, that size of home, and you don't want to sell it first, you want to buy the new house or rent that house out. By all means, if it can be proven with showing who's living in the property with residency kind of confirmation information, you could get a second FHA loan, but you do need to provide the underwriter evidence that the house is too small for you guys to have it and live in, things like that. So it is very much case by case, but you could technically have 2 FHA loans at one time. So 4 highlighted areas. Outside of that, standard 30-year fixed. They're great loan programs. Over 20 years, I've written thousands of these types of loans. It's not a problem. But again, getting them agreed upon with the seller might be a little bit more difficulty with some of the things we talked about. So any questions on these, any strategies on getting your FHA loan accepted, please by all means give me a call. Been doing it a long time, can definitely help navigate that area. Hope this helped helpful and you guys got some good worth out of it. Anything you might need, let me know. Talk to you guys soon. Have a good day.